The arts in America, bankrupt, flourishing, under siege. While Americans question the role of government in its cultural life, and whether it should have a role at all, the arts are suddenly the new hot button of 1990s politics. On one side is the National Endowment for the Arts and the use of public money for works deemed obscene by conservative politicians. On the other side is an election year. Add to that a worsening economic and social climate, not to mention the demise of communism as a political issue, and we discover the arts are suddenly a subject of controversy, a subject Americans have seldom given much thought to.
Artists are viewed as important intellectuals who should be controlled by the political forces that are in power. It's always the job of artists to confront the status quo. They're always going to get in trouble for it. It's always going to be uncomfortable. The middle class is never going to like it. The ruling class is certainly never going to like it. And it'll go on like this forever, and there's no hope. I'm sorry.
It is a controversy that does not promise to end anytime soon. It seems America, once it has found a new issue to seize upon, leaps upon it with a vigor that threatens to outweigh the subject matter itself. One would think that after the experience of Los Angeles several weeks ago, that America's priorities would lie elsewhere. But it seems that America, a society that has seen art as a luxury at best and indulgence at worst, is debating different moral viewpoints in a way that has polarized society.
Yeah, I think politics should be kept out of art altogether. I think that's one of the sort of crises that is taking place now at the NEA. Is the reason for it is because it's lodged in a political office.
Right.
And that in itself is just, it's a total paradox. Why create something that's supposed to be encouraging free expression in art, and
right.
And here it is become a political football, because it's basically an appointment that rests with the administration, with the current administration.
Because the nature of the job is in and of itself political, because it's not an artist who is the arbiter of...
No, not of it. Yes, it's a political appointment, but the job is not political.
Right.
In other words, it has been made political by the current administration.
Mm-hmm.
It was not political, before that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I'm cynical about politics, but I'm going to still do this until the FBI locks up the place or something drastic happens. The origins of Franklin Furnace were right here in this little sanded patch of floor. It was a bookstore, not-for-profit bookstore, for 3 months, and became the permanent collection for what has become known as artist books, which you see on display. At that time, 1984, Franklin Furnace did a show called Carnival Knowledge that got us in deep doo-doo with the federal government. It was 7 women curators asking, could there be a feminist pornography? And it had mud wrestling, saxophone dancing, phone sex, books like Annie Sprinkle's magazine, Sprinkle magazine, Bikini Girl magazine, performances, real prostitutes talking about the fact that they have children, they have to bring their groceries home. Anyway, the purpose of the show was to not denigrate women and children. However, the word pornography alerted a group called the Morality Action Committee that this was pornography. So they waited till the show came down, and then they wrote to all of our funding sources and said we were showing porn to 500 children a day. This is art. It might be art about sexuality, but it's still art.
Robert Hughes in the New York Review of Books recently wrote an article entitled Art, Morals, and Politics, in which he makes the point, and I'm paraphrasing him here, that we're beginning to equate art with political correctness. That is, the notion that art's political content should be viewed as its viability, as opposed to viewing it on purely aesthetic terms.
I would say that's complete bullshit. Art, it's like saying you can amputate or separate the form from the content. You can't. Some art is political and successful as art, too. Some art is political and unsuccessful as art. and some art is not political. And I think he's saying that Mapplethorpe is not a very good artist. Why are we going to bat over the Mapplethorpe images? And, you know, he can have that opinion about Mapplethorpe's work if he wishes to, but I don't think that means that that it's impossible for art to be political and still be very good.
Do you see any hope for a culture so firmly rooted in denial, in sexual denial? If we deny the reality of sex across the board, how can people come to grips with art that attempts to grapple with it on aesthetic terms?
Crucial question. You've just asked the crucial question. The United States was founded by the Puritans. My family is Quaker, so I happen to know that what they do is they just don't deal with it. They just don't acknowledge that sexuality or violence can even exist. They live in a state of denial.
I want to thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks for your questions.